I'm Arthur Moats, and I'm here to tell you about my new book, The Moats Theory of Life. If you haven't picked up a copy yet, I strongly encourage you to. This book not only is a fun read, but it's a guide to helping you become a person of impact and inspiration. If you are ready to take the next step to improving not only your life, but those around you as well, go get a copy of The Moats Theory of Life, and it's available at moatstheory.com. What's up? It's the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke. I'm Arthur Moats, and that's my main man, Deke.
What's up, dude?
Clark Kent, man. What's up, bro? Man, I didn't even know how I let that slide last episode, bro. You had the glasses on. It was a totally new Deke, bro. Like, you looked good. You look highly educated. I thought I was with a Harvard scholar.
Best episode ever, huh?
Oh, no question, man. I mean, all the vids were cooking from that episode. People downloading like crazy. All because you had the glasses on. And then what you go ahead and do this episode? Take the glasses off. Come on, Deke.
I told you a while back. It's just a one-off thing. I'm not a big glasses guy in terms of, for my look at least.
But you see
Here
our
and
female
there.
following goes up when you wear the glasses.
Really? Is that
bro. The streets is
Well, I
talking.
know you told me that a couple podcasts ago,
Yeah,
but
man.
they even skyrocketed with the glasses.
Dude, the glasses, analytical, bro. I looked at it. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Off the charts.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
Okay, something to keep in mind then.
Just saying, man. Just saying.
If it becomes too much of a disparity, male followers versus female followers,
bro,
just tell me and then I'll wear the glasses.
I'm about to pull out some glasses. That's going to help, bro. Like, I'm thinking about, like, I'm throw some glasses on.
The LeBron glasses.
Yeah, man. Just look smart.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Oh,
That was a thing for a while.
It was, bro.
I think people have kind of faded with that.
Situational, man. I still pull out some glasses every once in a while.
Like Wade had his whole, what was it, like a Band-Aid or sticker under his eye?
Well, that initially started with, like, I remember Nelly used to do that, man. Like, jeez.
Wade was taking it too far.
Yeah, bro.
He was taking it too far. It was getting annoying.
I like it, though.
But yeah, no glasses this episode.
Okay, man. But you got the Maddox on, so that's clean.
Random Maddox jersey.
Shout out to Tommy Maddox, man.
Tommy Gunn.
Absolutely, bro. Major respect.
So what do we got from this weekend?
Man.
We got a little bit more of a world view / perspective philosophical podcast here. Is that what we'd be saying?
What we have right now, we get to react
More of like
to history. We get to react to a historic event that transpired this weekend. An event that people said they have been longing for since the beginning of COVID-19. I want live sports. I would do whatever it takes to watch live sports. If live sports comes on, it doesn't have to be fans. I'm going to tune in. That's what people said. That's what I heard.
That's what I said.
It was live sports this weekend. In fact, it was a title fight, 2 title fights this weekend, man, with the UFC 249. Shout out to Dana White. But it begs the question, who tuned in? Did you tune in? I know you were one of the main people on this, man. I can't wait for live sports, man. I'm going to watch it. It doesn't matter. I'm watching it.
I'm not much of a fighter, UFC guy.
Oh, wow.
I'll tune in for McGregor. I'll tune in for the really big fight. Like if McGregor was fighting, I would have tuned in.
These fights this weekend were really big, though, bro.
Well, here's the problem.
All right,
Habib backed out. I think I definitely would have watched if it was Habib Ferguson because I know those are two big names. And I've seen Ferguson.
Henry Cejudo, though, man, 2 weight division champ at the same time.
I have no attachment there.
Bro, he had beat one of them.
But simple answer is no, I did not tune in.
I just can't believe that, man. I can't believe it.
Well, it was funny, too, because I was even talking to you about it. I think it was the Friday before. Like, bro, you tuning in? I was like, I might tune in to pay my respects for live sports coming back. It's not really, I'm not the biggest fight guy, but whenever I do watch, these are kind of entertaining and live sports is back. So it's just kind of like a little salute. Like I'll pay my support.
Shout out to Dana White, man.
But no, I didn't tune in. I completely forgot about it.
That was the first major sports event to be completed or competed since the COVID-19 thing started, man. So major shout out to the UFC. But it was a crazy situation because leading up the day before the fight, one of the fighters there tested positive for COVID-19 along with 2 of his cornermen. And they had already done the weigh-ins, the face off and everything. So it was a unique situation in terms of getting into that late hour right before the events were about to start, wondering if they were still going to be allowed to go through with it. And if they were going to be able to, and what was going to be the viewpoint if they did proceed with the event. But doing some of the research on it, apparently the Florida State Boxing Commission, they felt that they had done a good job in terms of the isolation process amongst all the fighters there, making sure they weren't intermingling and things like that. They all had separate hotel rooms. Obviously, they couldn't work out together. They couldn't be in the same gyms at the same time together. And to let people know what I mean by working out together, I've been to a couple of the UFC fight weeks where not just the event, but leading up to the event, they'll have an open gym where 20 fighters are in there just warming up back to back. So you get in the cage for 5 minutes. This guy's over here in the back room with the other fighters. And then they just kind of rotate them all throughout there, where they didn't allow them to do that at all because of the whole COVID-19 situation. So that really played a large role. That
happens even with your opponent being there.
Yeah, absolutely. Really? Yeah, because it's there. So you'll have like what they call the A side and the B sides, right? So all the A guys will be there together, and that's their time for mat time or open gym time. And then from there, they'll bust to take them back to the hotel. And then the B side, all the B guys will come in. Because at these events, they have just 2 locker rooms. So literally, it'll be 7 guys that are considered the A corner in their locker room together, and then the other 7 guys in their locker room together. But once you're at the fights for that weekend, that's your group that you're
not at the gym at the same time as your opponent.
No. But like everybody that's on your side, like all 7 fighters are going to be at the gym together. They're going to all, go here together. They're going to all do that together. And that's kind of how they keep everybody, you know what I mean?
So each side probably brings in their own guy to spar with.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got to think, man, each person, depending on how much their budget is for each fighter, they can have anywhere between 7 to 10 guys between when you look at their cornermen, their cutmen, their trainers, their boxing coach, their wrestling coach, jiu-jitsu, whatever it may be. And then not even mentioning like if they just got somebody they're cool with and they're like, hey man, just pull up. Because I mean, that's kind of like what my situation was when they had the fight here in Pittsburgh. This would have been in, I think it was 15. It would have been 15 or 16 year where we had the first UFC fight in Pittsburgh. Like all of us were up there and literally it was just, hey, all right, this dude. All right, cool. We'll talk with him for a little while. Oh, I know that guy. Okay, let's talk with him for a little while. And you just kind of vibe out that way. They didn't allow none of that. And most of the time these fights, like those workouts are open to the public too. So you'll have fans on top of that crowded in these small MMA gyms. So they didn't allow any of that type of stuff to happen. So when the Florida Boxing Commission heard about that, they felt that they had done a good job in terms of making sure the fighters weren't getting the cross-contamination or exposure with anybody else. And then from there, once the dude found out he had tested positive, apparently he was one of the main ones too that had like the mask and the gloves on, but he was actually honest and up front. When he got there on Wednesday, they were supposed to take the test then. And apparently they're supposed to get the results back in the day. Mm-hmm. But they ended up taking 2 days, which pushed it right to the brink of when the fight was about to happen. Right. But as soon as he got there, he had already told him like, hey man, some people in my family, that he didn't say if it was like direct family, cousins or whatever, but he said some people in my family have been exposed to to COVID-19. And that was ultimately why they were able to make sure they were extra careful in terms of the separation and the isolation and stuff like that. Whereas when we talked about this, 2 or 3 weeks before that UFC event that did get canceled, the one fighter said that he knew he had it and didn't even tell anybody, which was crazy. And that was one of the things that was like, man, I understand both sides, because for these fighters, you spend all your money on the front end, training, workouts, flights, hotels. You don't get paid until you fight. Mm-hmm. You get paid to show up and you get paid after the fight. Mm-hmm. So for those guys, I mean, if you tell them, hey man, I got it, you're not getting the check more than likely. Yep. So the first guy understood him trying to conceal that, but then I felt I had even more respect for the fighter who ended up saying that, hey man, I think I've known people that have been exposed to it, just get ahead of this thing. And then he ends up not fighting, but I could respect that so much more because he put others in front of himself, which we always talk about does not happen a lot in this world.
Yeah, it's tough to do sometimes, especially when, like you said, the checks are involved and all the time and other resources that you've invested in. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was definitely an interesting wrinkle, because I remember you texting me about that, and you're just like, man, what do you do with this whole situation? You don't want other people getting it, obviously. At the same time, you're just like, man, are we gonna stop everything every time someone gets this? Because it's gonna happen. It's inevitable. And he was asymptomatic, right?
Yeah, he didn't have
what
any
they were
symptoms,
saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's confusing to me as well. I've never understood that throughout this whole process. But
because I look at it like, I mean, plenty of people can be asymptomatic to different diseases or viruses. I mean, you think about like the first time. I hate to always bring up the flu, but like some people can get the flu, right? And they don't hit right away. Like they're not having the chills and the sweats and throwing up and all that right out the gate, but they can still be carrying it and then pass it to somebody else who's going to display symptoms right away. And that's the whole thing with it.
Yeah. The question is, whenever someone has that scenario where they don't have the instant results of the chills and all that type of stuff. I mean, are there points where someone could actually say, "Hey, I have the flu," but you don't have it in the sense of being asymptomatic? Because I've never heard of that until this.
It's like you can have the traits or the actual disease without your body having to show it, and that could be just because your body's immune system, which is why they say, like, if you have a compromised immune system, you're more at risk of having the crazy symptoms and potentially dying from it, because your body isn't just equipped to fight it off, whereas a lot of other people might be able to. That's the whole thing with it. So when they say asymptomatic, that's just the biggest thought process, man. Some guys, their immune system is just strong enough where it's not going to show, or it's not deadly enough to where they're showing symptoms. Whereas other people, it's the opposite. You know what I mean? Or some people, the different strands of it. Saying when we talk about the flu, it's different strands of the flu. They saying with the COVID-19 thing is different strands of it. So you can have it, but this strand might not be as tough as that strand, or your exposure to it might not be as much as if you had got exposed by this person right here who had longer, more time exposed to the whole COVID-19 thing. So that's why their symptoms are going to be a little bit stronger. So those are all these that kind of play into it.
So the question is then, where do we go from here? And this is something that's been talked about with the NBA, with the MLB. I haven't heard anything about the NHL, to be honest with you. No one's reporting anything on them. But you're thinking they're going to follow suit with the other leagues. Now, there's mention with the NBA that it's going to be a similar scenario with the UFC. If someone gets it, we're going to keep playing on. Same with, actually, I don't know if the MLB has reported this. I'm hearing so much different things about all these leagues, but that is something I have heard with the NBA, that they're going to be in a bubble, and if someone contracts this or has it, we're going to isolate them, but play is going to continue on. So the thing is, if with the UFC, we just saw this scenario play out that NBA has been talking about. If this happens, we're going to play on, and it's kind of this back and forth, interesting scenario. So it's just kind of, let's see what happens with the UFC if nothing comes of it, where all the other fighters and all the other people involved, nothing happens, and we just move on. They have a couple fights coming up here.
Right. Back-to-back weekends, right?
Yeah, so this is, in a way, a stepping stone, I would say. But these sports are different than...
I was going to say, it's a step in the right direction, but when we're talking UFC fighters, that group that fights still isn't the equivalent of how many people are traveling with a basketball team in terms of the roster, the training staff, everybody that needs to be there around that team. Or when you think MLB, or even when you get to football, just because the amount of people on these rosters. When we talk UFC, the high end guys, the best of the best, the guys who get paid the big money, have the bigger staffs around them in terms of the coaches traveling with them and things like that. Some of the smaller guys, they might show up with just a cut man and a trainer, 2 people. So it's just 3 guys, you know what I mean? Whereas with basketball, you're looking at 15 guys, just the team itself, not coaches, not trainers, not anybody else associated with. So you already see the numbers, and that's just for one team. So when you start factoring in how they want to house these groups and these teams and things like that, you're talking about a lot more people than just the UFC had for this weekend. And I think that's where it's going to get a little bit more difficult when you start talking about these sports with bigger rosters, because now you're not going to just be able to say, oh yeah, we're going to have 30 teams in this one hotel. And you think about everybody that's going to be with them, you know what I mean, in terms of how all that operates. So I think that's something that the NBA, MLB, NHL, and definitely the NFL are going to have to work out if this thing continues on.
What are you thinking?
In what regard?
I guess I think you have the player's perspective though, which is interesting. Like if you were in the NBA, MLB, and NFL, what are you thinking with all this going on? Because you have a lot of things at play with people who are talking about, their families. You want money, and absolutely, I'm sure you want to even be playing football. I mean, you don't want to be wasting like a year of your career even. Yeah,
I mean, it's a unique situation. It's something that if I was playing, I would definitely have to talk to my family about, because you have to think, I'm in a situation where luckily none of my family has compromised immune systems. But I think of how many teammates I know who have daughters with diabetes, who have daughters that might, or sons that might have autoimmune system disease and things like that. So you asking yourself, hey, is that money worth what I'm going to potentially expose my family to, my wife and my children to? That dynamic is different. And then also, what stage are you in your career? If this is rookie year and I'm trying to get it, well, I think I'm going to be a lot more, on the side of, hey, let's get up out here and let's just take our chances. Once I've already been paid, though, now I'm weighing the risk. Is that money worth this? And that was ultimately one of the things that led when I was thinking about my retirement. Okay, I don't have to do this for the money anymore. So is this worth this anymore? And for me, I was like, it's not weighing the same no more. I'd rather walk away. I'm good. So I think those are some of the things that people will have to decide on because it affects more than just you. And I think that's the biggest difference. But everybody's going to be different in that situation. So for me, that's 2 examples right there. Me pre-contracts, be pre the millions. Absolutely, man. I'm out here gung ho. Hey, we're going to have to take a chance, babe. I got to get it. I got to get it while I can. Me on the back end, though, I'm definitely going to be contemplating a lot more in terms of, man, is it worth it to me or not? Because at the end, you really have to ask yourself, all right, you made that money, but you potentially put your family in harm's way. How do you look in the mirror? How do you sleep at night after that? That's something that each person's going to have to ask themselves individually. And there is no right or wrong answer for that because everybody weighs that differently. But that's something that definitely has to be thought through because it's bigger than just entertainment. It's bigger than just $1. It's bigger than just, hey, I'm living on my dream. I'm playing. You're affecting multiple people.
Well, that's something that has been on my mind too. Like all right, things get opened up in a month or two. Let's just say that everything's opened up and we're good to go. What's the difference between, obviously there is a difference. There's, a lot more physical contact, but still if, I'm going out to a concert, I'm going out to a bar, I'm going out to restaurants, grocery stores and interacting like normal versus players being together in a locker room and playing football and all, all that type of stuff. If you're even getting tested too, like if the tests are going on and everyone's saying, all right, everything's good here. What's the difference or that's the thing I'm trying to struggle. It seems like it might actually be less risky doing that if everyone's getting tested and what's going on versus me just randomly going out to a bar and hanging with people. I don't know where any of these people have been.
Very true, man. But I also know that the testing situation is unique in terms of, do you have enough tests? And then how often do you have to test these people? Are you testing them just once and then once they get there, all is well? I mean, you think about a 16-week season. You're going to test in week 1 and think that everything's going to be good by the time you get to week 10, week 16?
Right. But I guess that's the thing with even the UFC and what the NBA has been talking about. If someone gets a test, we move on. We keep going.
Right.
And then that's what I mean. If this UFC thing, we've just seen this scenario play out.
But I think this is the thing that I'm saying, though, right? In terms of you tested these guys, right? Their event was right now. They don't have to fight again for another 3-6 months, realistically, right? Whereas in football, basketball, it's week to week, sometimes night to night. So it's different when you say we gonna test these UFC fighters right now. Hey, nothing else came from it. They're good to go. They're out of sight, out of mind. They're not competing again for a while. Basketball, you test this guy this week. Say 3 days from now, he goes to do something reckless. Who knows what it is?
That's what I mean.
He comes back and plays that following weekend. You see what I mean?
If they do stay in a bubble or if they do abide by that type of stuff, then there shouldn't be.
But you hear that it's a lot of if they abide by it, if they stay in that bubble, if they don't go see their family, if their family isn't going to see other people as well. Because we already have talked about this multiple times, how we see some people taking it serious in terms of quarantining, other people are kind of just doing whatever they want to do. So it's kind of like when you factor in all these different players, the money associated with them, not everybody has family. What about the guys who like to, spend a little time with people over here and a little time people over there, a little time people over there? I mean, how do you handle all that? How do you dictate all that?
This is an example of, I think, what most sports fans and what I think sometimes of sports themselves and sports players, you just think everything's in harmony and everything's going to be perfect. Seriously. Seriously. So, I mean, the way I'm picturing it is everyone's in a bubble. Everyone's all in. We're winning this. We're trying to win this championship. I'm gonna be in the hotel room. I'm gonna be watching film.
I mean, I just laugh, right? Because you say that right when you go for a run. I'm thinking to myself about that AFC Championship year that we went to, right?
Okay.
And everything that was transpiring in the locker room, on and off the field. I mean, obviously some of the stuff came out after the fact, but it's like,
you're talking about the Chiefs game?
Yeah, and everything just that whole season. I'm thinking like everything that's going on, but to the fans, they're like, oh man, they're all just singularly focused on winning the championship. That's the only thing that's going on. It's like, bro, we done had this dude, he got in trouble. That guy done got in trouble. I done got in trouble. Coach done tripped out. This didn't happen. Oh, y'all just saw the live video. Y'all thought that was it, but it was this going on. And that, like, it's just so much. But it's funny to hear from a fan perspective that y'all just assume, like, hey, man, everything is perfect. They're all just locked in, focused on this and this only. It's like, dude, it's a lot of different personalities, a lot of different levels of love for the game because not everybody has the same type of obsession for the game. Some people are naturally talented, but they don't really care for it. Some people care for it crazy, but they don't have the talent. And then some people are a mix of both. Like, that's just how the sports will operate, man, because it's so many people. It's not like boxing or UFC where it's just one person you're worried about. These rosters in football, I mean, you're talking about 53 guys, and that's not including your practice squad. Shoot, some of the coaches are iffy in terms of what's their level of commitment, man. Are they trying to hang out and have fun? Are they trying to get it in and get a championship? Or are they kind of in the middle? Are they more concerned about their family? Like, what's going on here? It's a lot that goes with that, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of my question then too. Like, what's the difference between that than a typical workplace? Yeah. And the thing is the contact. Definitely that's a thing. But in terms of the coaches and the other, I mean, you got equipment managers. I mean, you were talking about this before. There is some certain things that are different, but at the same time,
if risk people, the older employees,
if the testing is there, that's one of the things that is definitely a big benefactor to these sports leagues that takes the risk out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I mean, if I need NFL back.
I want to know, are you even going to watch it? I mean, you talked all this. I want to watch sports. I can't wait to live sports.
I'm not a UFC guy.
2 championship fights this weekend. You ain't even watch.
I'm not a big UFC guy.
Man, I can see it now. Football start back up.
Hell,
no dude, fans. You're like,
no way, dude.
I ain't going to tune into that.
Football's, I'm not going to say, actually, I will say a very good product, if not better, on TV than it is at the game even.
But you got to think of the production on TV, the atmosphere they capture with the fans, everything they're doing. I mean, it's a
just lock in on the close-ups of the players.
It's a big product, man.
It is. But just think of a low-key college game, high school game even.
Yeah, it's still atmosphere, though.
I'm still watching the game. I mean, I'm not watching because of the teams, but I can still watch it on TV and be entertained.
What low key college game you watch with no fans? What Division III championship you don't watch on TV?
I don't have an attachment to those teams.
I'm just saying.
Pit games, I mean, they
still have fans there. You talk about pit games, they still got 20, 30,000. They do.
Not recently.
The problem is this, though. They're playing in Heinz Field, the whole 70,000. So 30,000 in a 70,000 stadium doesn't look like much, man.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I could still enjoy the game on TV.
Still people there. That's what I'm saying, man.
Not many.
Stop it, man. Yeah, man. You can't be coming at Pitt like I'm not even.
I'm
a
Pitt alumni. I'm critical of my college.
When you look at the numbers, the only thing they need to do is just tarp up the top half, and it'll look so much better. But they want to keep it all open, and that's the problem.
And those yellow seats,
it makes it stand out.
It doesn't vibe.
Nah.
Dude, they don't get many fans. They just don't. Even Pirate games recently.
But this is my thing. Even with the Pirates, and we can all tell you, like, yeah, Pirates, they definitely have low attendance, but they still have people there. But how many Pirates games have you watched on TV?
I'll watch if they're the only things.
So you don't watch Pirate games because up until now they've never been the only thing on TV. There's always other stuff on TV. Man.
I got Pittsburgh, man.
It's always other stuff on TV.
But they're going to be the only things. If the NFL,
this is different.
If the MLB comes back and the NBA and the NHL don't come back,
if you weren't watching them beforehand, why all of a sudden, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to watch him now. Like, it's not realistic, bro. You won it because you had opportunities before.
Pittsburgh.
No, that's not how it works.
It's going to be the only thing on.
No, it was a fight this weekend, or man, nobody told me.
And you know what? If this happens with the MLB, you're actually going to think the Pirates might have a chance if they get on a lucky hot streak or something like that.
Sure, a condensed season, absolutely, it can work for them.
This is something they should have been doing a while. So this would be a really good, entertaining MLB season, in my opinion. 80 games. It's like every game matters. That's one of the things that's lacking in the 162 game schedule.
It's way too long.
So that's another reason why I might tune in.
But you're not going to tune in, man. We know this, bro.
I'd tune in.
Because it becomes less about, hey, if I'm tuning in, more about the quality of play. And that's what it's always about, the quality of play, man. In that regard, the quality has been lacking, but that's a whole nother conversation.
With the Pirates?
Yes, it's a whole nother conversation, bro.
That is a whole nother conversation. But in terms of me being able...
Would you tune in and watch the Steelers every week if they didn't have Big Ben, if they didn't have JuJu, if they didn't have all these players?
Yeah.
I question that.
You question that?
I do question that. I do question that.
No, dude.
I question that.
That has happened with Steeler fans, and it has ticked me off in the past.
When does that happen with Steeler
the
fans?
Detroit Lions game back when we were 8-8. I forget what our record was at that
Y'all
point.
still had star players.
It was the No, I'm telling you, there was a lot of people not in those stands.
A lot of people not in the stands. It's still people tuning in. I know the game you're talking about. That's when we had the Bumblebee throwbacks on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it ticked me off. But no, I was watching the game. I've watched every game.
Like I said, the product is different because the players, you still had AB out there. Like you said, Calvin Johnson was there.
No, but it's different if you...
playing or was he hurt?
No, he was playing. That was a big game for AB.
So you still had people. You still had names. That's what I'm saying. When you watch the Pirates...
No, it's different though if you think you're out of the playoffs.
When you watch the Pirates, man, they don't have the same caliber names right now.
They're just not good.
That's what I'm saying.
Josh Bell was nice last year. He was like top 5, top 10 in the league.
Bro, we're not going there.
What do you mean, Josh Bell?
Listen, we're not going to go there, bro. I'm just saying we're not going there.
What do you mean? He was a name.
That's it. And I think I said we're not going to go there, bro. Is he good? Yes, but we're not about because you're not about
what, like Josh Bell versus Bryce Harper?
No, you're right, because that's what you're trying to put it, and it's not in the same.
Josh Bell did better than Bryce Harper,
bro. It's okay. Whatever you say, bro.
He did.
Next, you're gonna say Josh Bell is Andrew McCutcheon too, right? That's what I'm waiting to hear next.
No,
that's why you're trying to talk about this man, though. That's why I said I'm not about to.
He had a great year last year.
Anyways,
he did.
Anyways, bro.
I mean, that's a whole baseball problem, though. They don't market their stars that well in general.
Trust me, I follow it. You know, but that's what I'm telling you about. You trying to sell me something? I'm like, no, I'm not buying it, bro.
That's in general, though.
But I'm telling you for a fact, I know
that's not a knock on Josh Bell.
He's not right. I'm not knocking him, but he's not star. He's not a star right now. He's not. Is he a good player? Yes. He's not a star yet. He's not.
Stars. I mean, he's a top 10 player, but in terms of star power, I mean, I'll give you that. I'll give you some of that.
So how many years has Josh Bell been doing this?
Man, you're getting me on stuff I don't know the most about here. But what, 4 or 5 years?
No. We talking about the season he had last year, the All-Star season.
Yeah.
How many years has he been doing that?
1 year.
Exactly. That's not a star. That's a one hit right now. So how you gonna put him? So how you gonna put him in a Bryce Harper category off of 1 year? That's what I'm telling you, man. It's different.
I'm not putting him in that category.
But you just did. You just tried to name drop him as if he was in the same vein as a Bryce Harper. And then you said, well, his year last year was better than Bryce Harper. We really going to go off of 1 year wonders now? That's what we're doing?
No, I mean, Bryce Harper hasn't been that good, but his star power is better than Josh Bell. That's all I'm saying. We got a player. We have a player in Josh Bell.
And he's still not enough to make you watch.
I'm not watching baseball, dude.
You just said you were because he's Pirates, though, right?
I will.
Which one is it, man?
I will if it's the only thing that's on TV.
Stop it, bro. Stop it.
I will because it's Pittsburgh, and I'm going to become a Buckeyes fan.
You tried to say that he's a star, and like I said, no offense to him, he's a really good player, but he hasn't done it enough yet to be a star. That's all I'm saying, man.
All-star. He made an all-star game.
That was this year. That's what I just said.
I know. So all-star.
Bro.
All-star. Once you're an all-star.
Like I said, man, anywho. Because we're not about to go down that route of baseball, because then that's going to be a whole nother debate and why the Pirates aren't being viewed and things like that. And it's more so the product. And you're not going to name Josh Bell as if he's Andrew McCutcheon.
No, I'm watching for Pittsburgh.
So why you ain't been doing it before?
Huh?
So you've never done it before, but now it's going to watch for Pittsburgh.
That's the only thing on TV. And
I don't want to hear it, bro.
What? I would. Because I think we would talk about it too.
Yeah,
even.
I'm sure.
It'd be a hot topic.
I'm sure, bro.
You don't think?
I know you wouldn't. If you wouldn't watch it when it was available to you to either go or watch on TV, now all of a sudden you're going to watch it when the product has gotten worse each year for the Pirates because of how they run it, because of the personnel they put out there. Now all of a sudden you're going to watch it.
If it's the only thing on TV.
No, you're not. You're going to watch it. It's going to be like watching a D3 football game. If D3 football was the only thing on TV, matter of fact, every year in December, before the big bowl games start, they always go through the Division III National Championship, the Division II.
I have no attachment for those teams.
So what attachment do you have to the Pirates besides being from Pittsburgh if you've never watched them before? So why don't you watch Robert Morris? Why don't you watch Duquesne?
I didn't go to those schools.
It's still Pittsburgh.
I went to Pitt.
It's still Pittsburgh. It's still Pittsburgh. Stop it, man.
Rivals with those.
Why you don't watch the Riverhounds? Pittsburgh.
I don't like soccer.
It's Pittsburgh. That's what you're saying, right? It's Pittsburgh. Stop that, man.
And that's not big enough either.
Oh my god.
That's not the best soccer league. MLB is the best baseball league in the world.
MLB is the best baseball league in the world, but are the Pirates the best team or even in the best in their division? Not even close.
80 games, we might have a chance. You never know. Get on a few hot streaks here. You never
Anyways,
know.
bro.
Dude, that would be the only thing on. I guarantee the first 10, 15, 20 games.
So
would
you
be
watching 80
interesting.
games of the Pirates?
Well, you're right. If they start blowing it, then yeah, I might not be tuning in as much.
But why not? I thought it was Pirates.
Right off the bat, dude, I'd be watching those games.
But it's a long season, right? 80 games. You got to watch more than just 10 games, right?
I'm self-admitting I'm not really the biggest Pirates fan.
So how you going to sit here and say that you would watch their games if you're speaking of watching just 10 games? That's
Right off
not
the
watching
bat,
them.
we got to see.
It's
We gotta
82
see.
games.
Can you keep my entertainment?
It's 82 games. They couldn't keep your entertainment while they had everybody there. So while it's sudden now, because of a situation of a COVID-19, now all of a sudden it's going to keep your entertainment? It's not.
It's going from 162 games to 80 games. A lot more urgency there. And then there's nothing else. There's no other sports.
Wait a minute.
NBA is on during the baseball season.
You're a LeBron guy, right?
Yeah.
You watch LeBron, right?
Yeah.
I would even say that you love LeBron, right?
Yeah.
They play 82 games too. Do you watch all his games?
I don't know.
So you love LeBron. You watch LeBron. And you won't watch all 82 of his games.
No.
You don't even care about the Pirates. You're just saying because you're from Pittsburgh, you're going to watch them? Stop that, bro. That doesn't even make sense.
Nothing else is on. Nothing else is on.
Okay, Deke.
What?
Okay, bro.
It's gonna be a hot topic. It'd
Okay,
be it'd be just a whole national thing going on. If the MLB is the only league.
Yeah. MLB has its own season and the Pirates still aren't talked about. MLB was going on last when we started this podcast. Did we talk baseball one time? Pirates, I mean, think about 162 games. They got their home season, right?
NBA was going on.
Not when think about when baseball has a run of about 2 months where there's nothing going on but baseball.
March Madness is happening though. At the beginning.
Gosh, at the beginning. When March Madness is over, what is happening then?
What do you NBA playoffs?
Bro, you really trying to do this?
I'm not. I'm being real with you.
So it's never a part of the year. It's never 1 or 2 months where it's just baseball being played. You gonna sit here and tell me that?
July, and that's when it's boring as hell.
Oh, why is it boring? It's baseball. That's the best of the best. Pirates, right?
They're out of it.
Pirates.
They're out of it.
Pirates. You ain't watching the Pirates. Pittsburgh.
That's when training camp starting up for.
So you would rather watch training camp practices than watch a professional team play? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm not watching that either.
What?
I'm just saying. I'm just kind of that's relaxed mode for me.
It's relaxed mode. This is the best of the best, though. That's what you told me.
It's not as entertaining, dude. It's just not.
It's the Pirates, though. Pittsburgh.
I gave you the different reasons. 162 games. I'm lolling out.
But you're not even watching any of those games before then. So you can watch your 10 games right there in July. Could you not?
Nah, I'm good. Pirates are out of it by then.
Oh, boy.
They are. They have been as of late.
Okay. You keep trying to sell yourself on this pirate fanhood and you would watch it if it was the only sport being played. You could believe that lie. I'm not about to believe it. Okay.
I would.
You believe it
and
yourself.
You know what? And you know what I'll do to make sure that I watch it?
I'll
put some money on it.
But you're only going to watch 10 games, right? I'm saying all 82.
Could they keep the winning going?
It doesn't matter. 82 games, you're going to have some ups and downs, right?
Why would I watch all 82?
Why wouldn't you? It's the only thing going.
And not at that point. I mean, football's going to start coming back.
This is watch 30 of them then, right?
I'll probably watch that. I mean, that's a good estimate. Let's say 30.
Okay. How many have you watched before?
I don't know, man. I'm not keeping track.
Yeah.
I'm not keeping track. Yeah, wait, I don't get what's wrong with saying like, all right,
all I'm saying
MLB and baseball is not entertaining.
All I'm saying is this, man. You sit here and try to act as if you're going to all of a sudden watch a sport because of COVID-19 when you're not. Because you never watched it before. So while saying you're just going to magically want to watch these games, that's not the case. And just because you watch 5 to 10 games doesn't mean that you're actually watching it. 5 to 10 games out of 82, it doesn't mean you're watching it. It means you don't know anything about it.
What do you mean?
Just saying, man. Like,
I would watch Pirates.
Okay.
It's not about believing or not believing.
Right.
I'm just saying I'd watch Pirates.
I just find it hard to believe that statement when you don't watch them.
Yeah, I'm not that big into them. I haven't been. This is a completely different scenario.
But all I'm saying is, what makes this situation so? Oh, I'm really gonna watch it.
I told you, 80 games is different. They might have a chance.
The amount of games, what's the difference? The product is the same.
Nothing else is on like that.
Okay.
There's an urgency this time around,
okay,
and there's nothing else going on.
Okay.
And I find it I find this whole situation interesting, especially if baseball comes back.
Okay.
I would.
Okay.
I just find it completely different than all the other stuff.
So I just thinking again, you said you watched UFC before, right?
I have, yeah.
And UFC is interesting.
I mean, I've watched some McGregor fight. I watched a couple fights, big name fights.
UFC is interesting, right?
Yeah.
But UFC was fighting this weekend. You didn't watch that. And that was still way more interesting, still a way better product, the best of the best.
That's your opinion.
Baseball. No, these are world champions. There were 2 world champion fights.
I don't care about this.
You said you would have watched it if it was Ferguson and Habib, right?
Well, he wasn't there.
And Ferguson was still fighting. So still half of that main draw, right?
It wasn't Ferguson and Habib.
But still Ferguson was fighting though, right? Still part of that big draw, right?
It's not as big as Ferguson.
It's still part of that big draw though, right?
Dude, I'm a dictator of my time, and I didn't want to do it.
All right.
If it's Ferguson and Habib, that's different. That's a completely different dynamic.
Whatever you say, man.
It just is.
Anywho, man. So did you see the JuJu article pop up today, man? Because we about to talk in circles about you trying to lie to me about your fanhood for the Pirates all because of COVID-19 when we both know it's a lie, bro.
I'm being straight up with you. I'm not a big Pirates fan.
All right, cool. But now so you'll be a Pirates fan because of COVID-19, 82 games? That sounds like it doesn't make sense to me. That's all I'm saying. Then you said that you watch UFC, you'll watch a big fight, but then it was 2 big fights this weekend. You didn't even tune in.
It wasn't big to me.
That's all I'm saying, bro.
Big to me.
But one of the people that you quote unquote said would be in a big fight was fighting this weekend.
The other guy wasn't there.
So it's still part of that big fight that you're speaking of.
Wasn't big to me anymore.
Anywho, so
it went from big to not as big.
To not as big, but still bigger than the Pirates.
No.
Yes, absolutely. Not even close.
In your opinion. That's
viewership.
What I mean.
No. You look at the viewership.
I don't care.
Viewership. The numbers speak for themselves.
I'm talking about my viewing.
I'm just saying the numbers speak for themselves.
In my time. I'm not. I would rather watch the Pirates, and I don't have to pay for it either. That's definitely a factor.
You don't have to pay for it. You can stream online. Everybody does it. What are you talking about?
I understand that, but I probably would have.
All this technology, you can't find a way to stream a fight online. Are we serious here? Really?
A little too much effort.
Really?
You know what? Pirates are on Fox Sports or whatever the heck they call it now, and I could just turn in real easy.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
You're saying you're doing illegal stuff, dude.
I'm just simply saying it's more. No. You said that you got to pay for it.
Yeah.
And I said, if you didn't want to pay for the fight, you don't have to pay for the fight. You have options. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just messing with you because I'm the master of the illegal schemes.
Hey man, no, you about to get us investigated. We'll need that. No, don't you drop. I
don't think it's illegal. I mean, if someone else is putting it,
you said you don't think it's illegal, but I don't want it. Hey, not on this podcast. We not about to do that. All right, we don't need any of those. No. You try to get the feds on us, baby. What you doing? Come on, Deke. You crazy.
Hey, we need a little controversy.
No, we won't need that.
It would help our publicity.
I'm good. I don't want that publicity. No, No, I'm cool, baby. No.
Wait, so we wanted to talk JuJu article?
Yeah, man. Let's go JuJu, man.
How did this get the Pirates?
Because you. It's always you.
I just told you I'd watch Pirates.
Yeah.
All right, JuJu then. The JuJu article. Wait, do you have it up? Do you want me to pull it up?
I mean, you pull it up, man. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let me pull it up here. So essentially, they're talking about the
Pirates.
AFC. What is it?
So they were saying the NFL. They're breaking out each team's biggest question marks going into the season coming up.
Burning questions.
Yeah, burning questions. Burning. Like Jim Rome. Shout out.
So they have JuJu on here. Each team, like the headline here is Jared Stidham or bust in New England. Like how much are they really relying on him? Now I'm scrolling through the article right now, and I'm finally getting to the Steelers. No, that's the Chargers, Patriots, Jets. Hold on here, dude. Wait,
we're all the way at the bottom, bro.
Are we?
Yeah.
No, here it is.
Yeah, I think we're like right over the Titans, actually.
Yeah, that's how it's gonna be. So here it is. Will JuJu come roaring back?
Roaring.
You want me to read the whole thing?
Yeah, man. I can.
Does JuJu deserve a mulligan? Is he the player who dazzled in 2018 with 111 grabs for 1,426 yards and 7 touchdowns? Or closer to the guy who squeaked out a 42 catch, 552 receiving yards and 3 touchdown line during an injury-plagued follow-up? Everyone suffered last season as the Steelers were forced to roll out the hyper-ill combination. What the heck? Hyper-ill?
Hyper-ill. Let's go.
Is that the best use of words during this time?
It's hyper-ill, bro. They sick. Oh, let's get it.
Okay. A combination of Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges after losing Ben Roethlisberger in Week 2. James Conner missed 6 games at running back, and the attack never gelled during a hard-fought 8-8 campaign. Instead of running with Antonio Brown's suggestion... Wait, what? I gotta click on that. Hold on. I'll
the ABC
afterwards.
Yeah, you know.
No. He said instead of running with Antonio Brown's suggestion. What was AB's suggestion?
No, remember when he said that JuJu isn't a real number 1 receiver? He just likes to talk like he is one.
How's that a suggestion?
Because AB was the one who put that tweet out there. This was right when the season ended.
That's not a suggestion.
No,
Usually a suggestion is like, hey, do this instead of that.
No, he's saying, which one do you want to roll with? Do you want to believe what AB said in terms of AB saying that JuJu is not a number one receiver? Or do you want to roll with the fact that we think what year 1 and year 2 was for JuJu, that's more realistic?
I guess that could be considered a suggestion. I usually think a suggestion though is advice, like, hey, do this or that.
Well, he said that JuJu's not a number one receiver.
So he's saying cut him loose.
No, he's just saying like you need a number one receiver, man. Like, yeah. That's what AB says.
Like, sign me.
You.
I gotta click on it though. Let me finish this real quick.
You don't remember this? We talked about this.
I remember this.
Yeah.
That JuJu simply isn't the same guy without Brown pulling top corners away. I'd point to a player who fought through toe, foot, knee, and concussion issues. Brown's absence is a factor, but he's using hyper again, but the hyper shoddy quarterback play can't be ignored. After Smith-Schuster saw 61.4% accurate ball placement in 2017 and 18, that figure tumbled to 50.8% in 2019 per PFF. Shout out to PFF. If Big Ben is still Big Ben, JuJu should rise in a career-defining year. So a lot is there.
Yeah, what suggestion are you rolling with? AB or?
I'm clicking on this suggestion with AB. There's too much going on here. Why are you
so tied up in this suggestion? The suggestion was when AB tweeted out
back in February 11th.
Yeah, he said, man, JuJu, like he said, a guy goes for 500 yards and y'all want to say he's the number one receiver, or y'all praise him for that, but he's not real. He's like something like that.
Yeah, I see it now. It's talking about that interview with the fan.
Yeah,
this is a PFF article. Man, they're really plugging PFF here.
Yeah, because he took the shot at JuJu, man. It was like, what type of backhanded like media PR thing you going on, but yet you still taking shots at JuJu?
Okay, so how are we diving in here?
Yeah,
are we saying JuJu bounces back? Is that?
I mean, I guess. What is your? I put it like this. When I look at it like this, when I read the article, I definitely can see both sides. I can see the injury element of it, the quarterback play, especially the accuracy that went down from Ben to Mason and then from Mason to Duck. I could definitely see all of that. But then at the same time, I can see the part of the argument where they're like, did he benefit solely because of AB and what he was doing in terms of coverages that he was drawing away? And we've talked about that as well. So I think in both of those regards, I mean, I think there's some truth in both of those statements.
Yep. It's usually what it is, right? In society, we always want to be completely right, completely left. Mm-hmm. Answer's typically in the middle. Yeah. So, I mean, you have one side of it that's, because up to this point, are we really saying that JuJu has had that number one receiver impact?
Right.
We don't know. Because you have one side of it that people are like, oh, the quarterback play was garbage, and he's going to bounce back. He's going to really show that he's going to be the true number one. Because the knock against that is, if you look back, I'm trying to think, how many games has he had without AB? One game, the Bengals game, back in week 17. And it wasn't, I've looked it up right here. He had 5 receptions for 37 yards and a touchdown. And the offense didn't look that crazy. Yeah. I mean, we won the game. I think we all thought we were going to win the game, although it was kind of tight.
It was, yeah.
So there's that. And then if you look back at...
that was the year when the Browns threw the pick.
It was Baker. It was Baker versus Lamar. We needed
the Browns to win.
We needed them to win.
Browns were driving through the pick at the end. Yep. Everybody said at the stadium. I remember that.
Yeah. So that was. I think that's the one game I can really think of where he was without AB.
AB has always been there.
So you have that type of performance, and I'm thinking of other games without JuJu where we haven't had AB and we've had Martavis, and the outcome has been different.
Yeah.
Having Martavis out there than JuJu, and I think we can all say Martavis would have been a number one on his own without AB.
Very true.
So we just haven't really seen it, but the one game that we have a really small sample size, and this goes into what we were saying, you could see the other side of it. We just haven't had that much of a sample without AB, and then last year there was all this crap that was happening.
Yeah. Well, because I even think back, I said in terms of the sample size, I really look at just 2 games for JuJu. I look at that Bengals game we just talked about, and I look at the opener versus the Patriots, because that would have been his only other opportunity to prove that he's the number one with Big Ben at quarterback.
Ben's elbow was a little hurt.
Come on, son. Y'all gotta stop this. Like,
just trying to look out for JuJu here.
Y'all gotta stop this.
All right. But
those are the 2 games.
We'll say those 2 games then.
And yeah, they weren't the best. And I do think that did raise some concern, but I don't. This is my thing. It's hard to just pass judgment on JuJu off of 2 games, because I think that when you look at his overall body of work, that productivity, I mean, that's crazy regardless of who's been on the other side of you. Regardless of that, because it's man, the numbers that he was putting up from a catching standpoint and from a receiving yard standpoint, I don't care how much attention that guy on the other side is drawing. You still have to be holding your own. You still have to be excelling. And I think that portion for me still is why I lean more towards the side of, I think that he can be more like year 1 and year 2 versus year 3. Now, I don't think it's going to be to the same level of year 1 and year 2 in terms of the catches and yards, but I think it's more in that vein, more in that realm than what we saw last year, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Nah, definitely. Now, year 1 and year 2 was just kind of different. I think in terms of numbers, what do you have year 1? We talked about this, 970 yards, but that was different. He was more like the third wheel with Martavis and AB, but he's going to be number 1. So maybe the production is maybe a little more similar. Maybe it's the average between those 2 years, but it's going to look a little different than that year 1, probably, in my opinion. Now, I wonder, this is a interesting thought that I had. Interesting, maybe just because it is my own thought. I don't... Jesus. You could judge
Deke's thoughts.
You could judge it if it's interesting or not. But anyway, are we knocking JuJu or the hate for JuJu? Do you think it comes from the Ravens fumble and the Jets drop?
And,
like if those
and the Saints fumble?
Yeah, I'm just thinking more of last year though. In terms of,
because I think like all of that. Yeah, I agree.
Because the Saints fumble, he still had a really good year.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people at that point were thinking, we'll give him that. That was one bad play. He still had 111 receptions in this crazy Pro Bowl type of season. Whereas last year he was up and down, helter skelter. But then you combine the Ravens fumble and you combine the Jets drop. Is that what we're really judging him on, as opposed to the down year? Because I'm thinking that more and more. Like if let's even take away the Jets one, if it was just the Ravens fumble when he catches that Jets pass, is it as bad? I think that Jets pass left a bad taste in our mouth.
This is the thing. It's a combination of that, but also the side narrative of, does he love football, or does he want
video
to
do
the video game, the branding and all that type of stuff? I think that whole combination, and then you factor in the memories that we all have of AB, where his was just maniac work. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go crazy in this work, in this football thing. Like, this is all I obsess over. This is all I care about. That's all we saw with AB. So that's what we all conditioned our minds for in terms of what a number 1 receiver looks like on and off the field. Whereas with JuJu, he was a totally different dynamic in that. He was having success, but then at the same time was showing you that, hey man, I want to have fun. I want to dance. I want to play video games. This is what I love to do. And I think early on it was fun because of the success, but then the first time you start seeing adversity, season not going the way that we're accustomed to, well, now you look at things to point to. And I think that's how it is. Like, think about this, right?
It's funny.
You can have success, and then it's like, okay, show us a little bit more of your personality. Show us what you do off the field. As soon as you start playing bad, what do we all say? You need to focus on football. How many times have we seen on social media a guy loses in a game? If he tweets out anything that he's at a party, if he's going out to dinner on Monday, Tuesday, you need to be focusing more. You need to get back to football. You need to be in the playbook. Like, people aren't allowed to express themselves. And I think because of JuJu's being so out and open with his personality, with his personal life, that people take shots at that because they're like, hey man, you didn't produce to our liking, so you're not allowed to do anything else. All you're supposed to do is just focus on football and football only. If you do anything other than that, well, you don't love the game the same way. You don't care about it the same way. Personally, I think that's the most
it's garbage
thought process. I can't stand it, but that's the perception that people have about JuJu in that regard. So when you see him fumble a ball, but then a day later he's, playing the game, or he's out at a party drinking, or not even drinking, just dancing, people view it like, yo, you don't care, you're not as invested. Whereas when we saw with AB, if AB had a bad game, man, you're seeing this dude, working out the next day, working out on top of that workout. Then he's working on top of the workout that he just got done doing a workout. Like, and he's just like, yo, this dude, all he does is work out. Like, it's crazy. He doesn't eat, he doesn't sleep, he doesn't talk to nobody, he just works out. And people love that though. And I think that's the thing that hurts JuJu in this regard right now.
Yeah, that is funny though. whenever you talk about the whole work thing, if you're not doing something you love, are you working that hard?
Man.
I'm not saying JuJu doesn't love it, but I'm just saying it's almost like double standard. Mm-hmm. If I'm working at X office downtown, and I get off my shift, I could work hard throughout the shift. If I'm not like in love,
you can even go do some extra work when you get home for an hour, 2 hours. You can do a little extra. You're not obsessing over that thing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Though.
And that's the thing. This is the point I want to bring up. We're comparing certain players, really good players who, like we said, I have no question that JuJu really loves the game. Right. I have no question that a lot of these players love the game. I mean, everyone's got different personalities, but still, if you're doing that, you're putting in the work. I mean, I have no reason to think that you don't love it. There's no other evidence otherwise. Right. Anyway, we're comparing these players to AB, Brady, like just people that are on different levels with this stuff. And I think that's kind of unfair. Yeah,
I agree, man. I think it's more than one way to show your love for the game. It's more than one way to get the job done. Everybody thinks it has to just be this way,
right?
Or it has to just be.
Yeah, everyone's got their own thing.
Yeah, and that's just in life in general, man. You could be successful. There's plenty of successful people that have went about that success totally different ways. That's just how it is. And when I look at JuJu, it's the same concept. I look at a guy, man, he's a hard worker. Absolutely, I can vouch for it. I've seen it firsthand. I know he's going to put the work in. Is he going to have fun? Yes. Is he going to be more open about the fun that he has? Yes.
I was going to say, I wonder how much of it's jealousy too.
Oh, come on, man.
Well, dude, think of it, because this whole YouTube thing, the whole video games and just this whole culture really has only happened within the past 10 years. I mean, it started back in maybe 04, 05, 06, but to make it how it is now, man, it's been only 10 years. And I'm sure people that are fans are just thinking to themselves, oh, if only I had that type of opportunity, I'm sure I'd be doing the same thing. But it doesn't come out that way. It comes out as, oh, you can't be doing that. You can't be doing that.
Just focus on football.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's probably it too. I think there's some older generations that look down on the younger generations. Maybe there's a tad bit of jealousy there. Just because they're able to do stuff that you weren't able to do.
Yeah. But that's how it always is, though, man. You know that, man. The next generation is always getting hated on, baby. But another thing that I did like in the article that I think we haven't really discussed, it all hinges mainly, I think, upon Ben Roethlisberger's return. Because he said, man, if Ben is back to old Ben, then you definitely would assume that JuJu's numbers do increase. So I think as we've talked about with the Steelers just this whole season in general, when you're predicting wins, when you're predicting what they can do and what they can't do, it all hinges on, okay, is Ben healthy? Is Ben available? What does Ben look like? That's the biggest thing when we're talking about JuJu. Because if Ben isn't available, if Ben isn't back to old Ben, well, now it's just the same circle of, okay, well, who's the quarterback then if Ben's down or Ben isn't where he is? And now you're still going back to, okay, well, is JuJu number one? Is he not a number one? Those things, I feel like, they do hold weight in the argument, but you can't solely put that on JuJu either. And that was something that I think we need to be talking about as well, man, in terms of Big Ben, in terms of when he comes back, what does he look like? Is he back to old Ben? Because if he is, then I'm fully anticipating JuJu being back to, like I said, old JuJu.
Got you. Yeah, that's a good point you bring up. Now, the other thing I'm wondering, though, is we talked about this with, I think it was Deontay, where it's like, how much of a leap does he really have to make? How much of an impact do we really need from this player? Now, we mentioned JuJu, and we both thought that JuJu is going to have a little bit more of an impact than the other receivers. Right. But now that we brought in Claypool, I'm wondering, I mean, we're going to have 4 guys, Ebron at tight end, Vance McDonald at tight end. We brought this dude in, McFarland. He's going to be wearing Bell's number 26. Benny Snow and James. Like, we have a lot of weapons on offense right now. So, in terms of how dire of an impact do we need from JuJu? Is 900 yards? I mean, will that get it done with it? Like,
well, this is the thing that I think is going to be unique when we're trying to judge JuJu's season. All things go well. We got to look at it, man. James Washington and Deontay Johnson both put up really decent numbers for their position this year.
Is it going to be
take another step forward? Like, I don't know if JuJu dominates the yardage the way like AB was doing, where you knew he was gonna have 1,000 yards, because I think, like you said, it's so many weapons. It's gonna be so many mouths that are gonna be getting fed between Deontay, between James Washington, between Claypool, between Ebron, between Vance, between the running back situation. Like, it's a lot of pieces, man. So it's hard for me to sit here and just think like, oh yeah, he's definitely gonna get 1,000 yards, because I don't know if necessarily not the 1,000 yards because of ability, but more so just the opportunities associated with it.
And I think that's what I'm trying to say is that we shouldn't really knock JuJu if he does get less than 1,000 yards. Could the impact or what he needs to be doing, if it is 900 yards and he's catching every ball thrown his way, maybe he's distracting from other coverages. He's blocking, doing those type of things.
We saw that with AB's last year here, right? We saw, okay, the yardage was down, but touchdowns were up. But we also saw the impact that he was having directly and how it was helping out the other players on that team. If it's that type of impact for JuJu, well, yeah, I don't think we hold the yardage against him. I think we recognize that. And
if we're winning too, a lot of that's going to be pushed aside anyway.
Absolutely. Hey, you know what they'll say? He's sacrificing for the team. He's putting others first. But when you're losing this, man, you're not doing enough. We need more from you. Yeah, come on, man. You know how it goes. Steelers made the playoffs last year. We're not really getting on JuJu season.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean about that Jets catch. If he catches that and we go on to win that game and we make the playoffs,
totally different conversation.
Are we really knocking him that bad for last season? Where you're thinking, man, he came back and had that clutch catch.
Yeah, and he did it with Dunk.
I'm excited to see what happens next year. That's what I mean. I wonder.
Was his first year without an AB. He had this crazy situation. The quarterback play, coordinators, everything was going on, and he found a way.
He gritted it out. That's what I mean. I wonder how much we're really judging him off of those two bad plays last year, where the rest of the season it was like meh. I mean, there was some ups. The Dolphins catch, obviously the 49ers catch. He had some touch. He had some nice plays here and there, but I really think it was those two things that, and then it started that whole narrative with the video game. It was ridiculous. It's completely absurd for one play to start that whole
game. Or man, I thought the one time he was on stage, I forgot who it was in Pittsburgh. They had a concert. He's on stage, and literally people were like, "Oh yeah, you don't care about football."
This was it while he was injured too?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think it's all those things that are playing into it. And it's unfortunate. I mean,
come on, man. You know you can't have a life outside of your profession, bro. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. All you got to do is focus on your profession. Look, I don't want to see you going out. I don't want to see you playing any games. All you need to do is focus on media. That's it. You can't go to dinner. You can't enjoy music. No. That's fun. You can't do that. All you got to do is focus on your job and your job only. All right.
Understood.
24/7.
Understood.
7 days a week. 365. That's it. Period.
Understood, man. Understood. I mean, if I want to get on AB or TB's level,
man,
it's gonna have to happen.
Period, bro. That's all you can do. Just focus. I'm surprised you didn't say Big Ben's level. Why you say TB?
Hey, man, different strokes for different folks. Okay. Everyone's got their own thing.
Just checking.
I respect how Ben does his stuff too.
Just checking, bro.
But I mean, TB and AB, it's out there, and we've talked about it.
I'd rather go the Big Ben route, man. I like that.
Just being a goat, just natural ability.
Just give me the juice.
And just ball out,
man.
I like that too.
It's you know what?
It's a combo.
It's a combo.
It's a combo. Got to have that ability, but it's also nice to put in some
just make sure you don't show up in here with a Tom Brady jersey. It'll be good, man.
Man, I can't be doing that. Come on, man. Come on.
You name dropping Brady before you gonna name drop Big Ben? Are you crazy?
Nah, man, it ain't like that. We've talked about this before. I am a fan of Brady. Like, I like his.
Nah, man.
I like his videos. I like his motivational stuff.
Man.
Like that stuff's inspiring. I like that.
The only quarterback I follow is BigBen7.com on Twitter. That's it. Period.
Nah, man.
Where's your loyalty at?
Nah, man. It's there. It's just different way, man. I'm a complex individual.
Oh, man.
It's kind of like this whole Pirates thing, man.
Oh, God.
I'm complex.
Listen, man. You might watch some baseball, and I'm not going to take that away from you, but you're not about to sit here and sell me on you watching Pirates. That's all I'm saying. You will watch baseball. I would give you that. You will watch some baseball. You might watch some Yankees. You might watch some Astros. See if they banging on the trash can. You might watch some of that. Man, you might even watch the Red Sox because I know you like your Red Sox hat. You might watch that with your Red Sox hat on. Dude. Shout out to all the OG followers. They'll know what I'm talking about. You might watch them. But you're not about to tell me you go watch all these Pirate games. I'm just not following it, baby. I just can't.
Until they start proving me otherwise that they can't.
It ain't going to take long.
They can't make it.
It ain't going to take long.
We'll see. We'll see if Josh Bell. I told he had a hot run last year.
How did that work out for him last year? He was was super hot, huh?
It's only 80 games this year. So
He was super hot last year. How did that work? Even his best games, how did that work out for them? They were bad.
We'll see
they
what
were
happens.
really bad.
There's a scarcity
They
element.
were really
to this
bad.
new
That's
season.
all I'm saying. They were really bad.
There's a scarcity element.
He was balling out, and they were still really bad. You know what it's kind of like? It's kind of like Kevin Love with the Timberwolves.
Mm-hmm.
Balling out, but they trash.
It's a new season.
No, it's a new same product, because you can tell by the way the roster is structured. Some of the trades they made before COVID-19. Yeah.
New season.
Yeah. You look at the roster moves they made before COVID-19, it lets you know right away. Oh, okay. I see what we're about to do right here. I got you. All right. Okay. Hey, but they got new jerseys, though. Shout out to the new jerseys.
Did they? Yeah, they did. I think they did.
I'm not about to sit here and lie like I watched the Pirates and I know that. What? You gonna sit here and tell me you gonna start watching the Pirates, all this stuff? You on new jerseys, all this stuff, man. Yeah, they gonna give you all the fan experiences, baby. Yeah.
They did. Their new jerseys are a little bit of a throwback from what I can remember.
Yeah, they clean, man. One with the script writing across the Nike now.
I do remember this.
Mm-hmm. Still trash though.
Nah, I don't know. We'll see. If there's a season, we'll find out.
Where's all this optimism any other year, by the way?
Huh?
Where was this optimism any other year? Because there's always a season, right? It's always hope, right? I never hear the same optimism and hope for the Pirates that I hear you talk about with the Pens or with the Steelers.
Pens? I don't talk about Pens either.
I'm just saying, but
if NHL comes back, I'll be a Pens guy.
Them, though, you're always optimistic about those guys, though.
I you know what? Because they have Crosby and Malkin.
So they got Josh Bell, though.
I know.
All-star.
I was trying to tell you that.
All-star, but I never hear this optimism. Why not?
Huh?
What was his optimism before?
I'm not a baseball. I'm really not.
So where's the optimism before? Even when you not being a baseball guy, you still aren't optimistic about those guys.
They don't have the best organization. They don't have the best culture.
They got an all-star. I mean, he's bigger than Bryce Harper. I mean, he's
bigger than Bryce Harper in terms of superstar.
Aaron Judge. He's bigger than anybody, bro. He's like the Pittsburgh A-Rod. What are you talking about?
Nah, you're putting words in my mouth.
Nah, man. He's like the Derek Jeter of Pittsburgh.
Nah.
He's the Ben Roethlisberger of the Pirates. What are we talking? He's the Sid Crosby of the Pirates.
All I was saying, he's a young guy. He was an all-star last year.
Now you want to backpedal, okay?
I'm not backpedaling. I'm saying he was an all-star. Like, he's our star right now. He is our best player right now.
And he still isn't a third of what McCutchen was in terms of star power. That's all I'm saying, bro. And people still weren't even tuning in all the way for McCutchen like that.
I don't know. When we were making those playoffs, people were getting excited.
No. People, you would get excited, true. But I'm saying in terms of, oh yeah, this is loyal following. They're watching. They're tuning in. It's not like that.
Yeah, but that just goes to show how much of the loyal following is around.
Right. So now let's say y'all supposed to be loyal because it's the only thing being shown. I don't buy it. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not saying I'm going to keep watching. Like,
so then how are you going
for 2021, 2020? I never said that. I never said that.
Okay. We're not about to do this again, bro.
Although this might turn me over. It might give me some nostalgia and just I don't know.
Listen, all I'm saying is this: if you weren't excited last year when Josh Bell was going through his home run streak and really balling out, if you didn't tune in then,
NBA was going on, man.
I'm just saying he was going on a historic tear. This was crazy for what he was doing. If you weren't tuning in then,
NBA was going on.
Now, so you're going to tune in? I don't buy it. That's what I'm saying. This is when it was the most exciting the Pirates had been for years. And they still were trash, but he was excited.
Different things get different people excited.
All right.
All it took was a little virus and, them shortening the games and it being the only thing on TV.
They're not shortening the games.
No, the game, like this.
I was going to say, the season is condensed, but they're not shortening the games.
No.
Yeah. Baseball's still baseball.
Yeah.
Still long. Still kind of just dragging on.
It'll be on my TV if Pirates are on. I'm telling you that right now. Okay. I'll post Instagram stories.
Yeah, sure.
And that means a lot, right? Because it could only be like a 30 seconds.
Yeah, you're good, man. Perception and reality. I tell you this all the time.
And then I'll turn off the game.
I tell you every time, man. I'll see a guy every offseason. He posting workout videos every day. Boy, this dude getting it in. He come to, I'm like, well, you out of shape. but that 30-second IG clip of you, it looked good. That's all I'm saying, baby.
Yep. Well, yeah, we got it all covered here.
Yeah, we did, man. It was good, man.
I appreciate it, man.
Let's go Bucks.
Good conversation. Yep. I got my Pirates hat.
Yeah.
So
you got your socks hat, so you good. Man. You covered on both angles, huh?
Nah, I threw that in the fire, man.
Nah, all right. Yeah, it's all good, man.
I don't got that anymore.
Yeah. It's cool, bro.
No, but yeah, that's about it.
I like it, bro. So, hey, man, appreciate all the listeners. Appreciate all the viewers, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it.
Until next time, baby.
Peace.